Northwestern Wildcats didn't just win the Big Ten West last year. They won it by 3 games. They bring a lot back, particularly defensively. Of course, you do lose the quarterback in Clayton Thorson, but Rashawn Slater, outstanding offensive lineman. Patty Fisher, a lot of first-team All-America lists, and potentially replacing Thorson, a former 5-star quarterback, Hunter Johnson, transferred from Clemson. You'd think Northwestern might be the choice of at least some people to win the Big Ten West. You'd be hard-pressed to find anyone picking them, though. And here's what Pat Fitzgerald had to say about it earlier today.
Picking us first isn't real sexy, but we'll just earn it. We'll just earn it. That's what football. What's so great about football. And you know, the West gets knocked. I enjoy it. You know, that's why I tell our players, enjoy it. And, you know, you got to go out and earn it on the field, and that's what makes our game so great. So, you know, we'll just continue to do that and control what we can control. But, yeah, it's always fun to read this time of the year how we stink. I should actually get better at golf because I don't know why I coach. So I should just keep playing golf.
Well, the coaching thing's actually working out fairly well, so I won't focus too much on the golf component.
No, I won't. Trust me. Anybody that plays with me knows.
I have played with you.
I don't focus a lot on golf.
Yeah,
no, not at all.
A while ago. But anyway, let me ask you this. I mean, not only are people not picking you to win the West, but I saw a very prominent publication, which will remain nameless, but it is one of the absolute most well-respected preseason magazines that did not even pick you to make a bowl game.
Yeah.
So what do you say about that to your team when again, not only did you win the division last year, you won it by 3 games?
Well, if I were to go back to 1995, I'd have to pull up the articles and cut them out and do this stuff. I won't have to tell them. Trust me, they already know. They know. They're on Twitter. They're reading it already. You tell them to shut the noise off, but that's something that I promise you, every one of their family members, their high school coaches, before I get them here in 2 weeks, they'll already fully be aware. And control the controllables. Go out and earn it. If you guys want to gain respect, you got to go out and earn it. And for us, right away in the opener, we're going to have to go do it on the road against a great team at Stanford. So I think that's the great thing about football. No matter what's said between January and August, when that ball goes up in the air in September, everybody's got an opportunity to earn it. And if we want to get to that point, that's what we're going to have to do.
You did have a really successful team a season ago. What are you proudest of?
The way we responded. Didn't start the way we wanted to. You know, in a tough hole at 1-3. All self-inflicted wounds, coaching, injury, all the factors on why you don't end up winning games. But our guys, I thought, responded boldly. We got on a roll. You know, you look at our margins of victory. They weren't by 28 and 50 points. We won a lot of tough, gritty, hard-nosed games and found a way to get it done. And then ended up short on a couple of games that I thought, you know what, if we can coach cleaner, execute cleaner, you know, the Notre Dame game, the Ohio State game, when we had them, you know, 1-score games, here we go. We're right in position to win. And, you know, we didn't make the plays we needed to down the stretch that I think really could have made last year incredibly special. But really proud of the seniors, all-time winningest group, the way that they performed and got us out of that hole. Really, really proud of them.
You've had some coaching changes, which is unusual for you. Yeah. Tell us about some of your new guys.
Well, biggest change, obviously, in offensive line. Right. Adam Cushing getting a great opportunity to go be the head coach at Eastern Illinois. The Panthers, the first school to offer me a scholarship to go to college. So I'm fired up for Cush. He's earned it. He's been a longtime loyal member of our staff. Had a great run, and he's going to do a terrific job. So that gives you an opportunity, obviously, then to bring in a new O-line coach. And when you have a job open, it's amazing how many people will talk to you. So, you know, Mick and I and Bob Hefner, our tight ends coach, and Hef and I and Mick been together for a long time, kind of attacked it as a 3-headed monster. And we kept coming back and comparing everybody we interviewed to Kurt Anderson, who we had on staff. You know, Kurt obviously was with Brett at Arkansas, has spent time in the NFL, a Chicago guy, a great Big Ten family. He was a great player at Michigan. And we kept comparing everybody to Kurt, and that just directed us right to who we needed to hire, and he's been absolutely outstanding.
Great.
Coach, one of the things that I'm really fascinated by your program is how you're able to identify the talented student athletes that you ultimately are able to sign. How long is that process for you and your coaching staff to identifying the guy that's going to fit, developing him in, like you talked about that senior class?
Absolutely.
How long does that take?
Well, it's a process, right? And you hope you're doing a great job of being organized and recruiting where you're going to areas that have been productive for you in the past. We're going to always have to start in Chicagoland, but unfortunately that's not where we can end. And as you look at our roster, it's not rocket science to see where we go when we leave Chicagoland. And, it's been, I think, now tried, true, and tested. We have an identity. We know exactly who we are. We recruit to who we are, from the academics, the character. Now we're trying to get more explosive, longer, bigger, everything bigger than we are right now to add competitive depth. But that development starts, from the minute we start that relationship. But Jay Hooten and our strength staff do a phenomenal job of building those relationships where our guys can be developed in the weight room and they get after it. And that's where I think you see us make our biggest jump, is with that group.
Continue with recruiting. There's no doubt the new facility has been great for your present roster.
Yep.
Have you seen it change recruiting?
Coach, I've seen more guys in our building than we ever have. Guys that maybe weren't really interested to come in to see us that go, I saw that picture on Instagram, which is pretty pathetic the way the guys research for recruiting right now. But we had a couple of, I'd call them gawkers, a couple guys that I'm not really sure were really interested, but kind of wanted to kick the tires a little bit. And then they're walking out and go, I was kind of interested. Now I'm really interested because they got around the people. Doesn't mean we have won all those battles to this point. But I think young people, number one, want to be developed, and they want to grow as a person and get a great degree. And they obviously want to compete at the highest level to give themselves an opportunity to play on Sunday. But they want to see a coaching staff that hopefully is going to be there for their 4 years or 5 years that they play, and then see a university that's committed. And the number one way you can show commitment is the improvements in facilities, especially with where we were at. Right. We still have miles to go. You guys know that. But we're aligned, the president, Morty Shapiro, our trustees, Jim Phillips, we are aligned with where we're going. And the reason why we're having success is because of leadership, and we're very thankful for that commitment.
Tell us a little bit about Hunter Johnson. And there was a player you had a relationship with before, and now has been in your program, been there for a year. How's he developed and come along and now put himself in a position where maybe he's able to lead your program?
Well, we had great familiarity with the family. His older brother was a walk-on that earned a scholarship for us and is now in dental school and, following in the footsteps of his father. So I think we had great family relationship, and I think we had great trust. He chose to go to another institution, and when they reached out to me saying that, we've put in for a release, we're going to transfer, my first question is why? Why would you leave there? I'm great friends with Dabo. I know the program he's run. They're reigning national championships, and his answer was, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave, but I think this is probably in the best interest of what I want to do. And when I called Dabo says, we got this kid who's pretty good named Trevor, and it's not that Hunter's not good. It's just that I think this kid's maybe a once-in-a-lifetime quarterback. Oh, Dabo was right, and Hunter was right. As he matriculated into our program, humble, came in just wanting to build relationships with his teammates. That takes time, like for any freshman in the building. Did a great job competing and running the scout team last year. And now through the offseason has really started to grow in the offense. And you're right, he's in a competition. And, he's doing everything he can to win the job, but the other guys aren't letting him do it. So it's going to be a fun August.
Along the same lines, you're the last coach we're meeting with today. And these guys are happy about that because they're getting tired. I, on the other hand, am not getting tired.
Incredible stamina.
But the other reason they're happy is they've heard me ask this question 13 times. So for the 14th time, they're going to hear the same question. Transfers, the portal, should they be eligible right away?
Right.
When they transfer, your thoughts and feelings about it.
Well, I'll just speak from my house, right? I'm in a glass house, so I'll speak from mine. 14 years, I've never blocked a student athlete from transferring. Whenever they wanted to go, if that's what they want to do, I want to support them and help them go be happy and find the right spot for them. So I come from that vein. So when we created the portal, we talked a lot as the AFCA, the Football Coach Association, about the unintended consequences. And here we are with more kids in the portal than we have scholarships and more kids in the portal than we have roster spots. So that's going to have to be solved no matter what. We'll get to that down the road. In my opinion, big picture is this. Across the board, any kid should be able to go wherever they want, but they're going to need, just like Hunter went through, that next year to get healthy, whatever you want to call it, a year of residency, get going academically, get your hours transferred in, your classes transferred in, build your new relationships, learn the new schematics, and walk in without the pressure of having to be that big-time transfer that we need. No, just come in and be a college student for a year and become a part of the team. Then when you graduate, you get that year back. So we motivate the guys to get to graduation. They don't lose any years, but maybe that will slow down the, this is really hard. Coach doesn't like me today. I'm in a competitive battle right now, and I've never been that. How do I do this? Instead of saying, I'm going to sit here and fight through it, I'm going to go transfer. Maybe one or two kids might just say, you know what, it's not that bad here. But for the guys that want to leave, give them a chance to go wherever they want. But they don't lose. The kids don't lose anything.
They get it on the other.
They get it on the back end when they graduate.
Sure.
And the kids that are 3 years and done, they're going to go to the league anyways. This doesn't impact them in any way, shape, or form. So away they'll go. So I think everybody wins. But if we go to a point where now a kid leaves, and right now with where we're at, the nebulous, I don't know where this group is that makes the decisions on who's eligible and who's not. We cannot stay where we're at right now. You can say what you want about us as coaches and programs. It's not fair to the kids. How does some kids get it and some kids don't? I have no idea. I don't think anybody has any idea. So there's a much better destination, but allowing kids to transfer where they want to go, I've been a proponent of that, and I believe in it.
Yeah, I think it's been unanimous that the appeal process is not healthy.
Yeah.
And then coaches have had different opinions whether they should be eligible or not. But it sounds like every coach is against what we're doing with the appeals now.
It's either everybody's eligible or
Right.
no one is.
Right.
I don't. The in between is why we're at where we're at today. But if we're going to make it where they sit out, like I'm talking about, we have to be able to get. In my opinion, of somebody that was not going to be an NFL player, if you were to tell me, okay, I transfer, I graduate, I get to play another year of the game I love, I'll do that, and I'll get a master's degree, I'll do that. Absolutely. And you only do that one time. You transfer multiple times, you lose that second time of the year because obviously there's something going on here. Yeah. You know, I know things happen, but that's pretty rare.
You know, one of the things that really came up with some of the coaches, I've always talked about, and I think we all have, about leaving that school in good academic standing. Mm-hmm. But I also started to hear the numbers that that player that got immediate eligibility, the transfer, his ability to graduate because of losing all of the hours from his other college is a major problem.
The numbers go way down for graduation once a young person transfers, and that's some of the things. I don't think any coach doesn't want to. We want to do everything we can to help student athletes.
Right.
Okay. And then they say, well, if a coach leaves, he can leave whatever he wants. Well, there's a thing called buyout now. So if we want to start talking about buyouts, so how about that recruiting money I spent and I fed the guys and the academic? I mean, let's not go there. That's not an apples to apples comparison. That's why if we can teach kids to fight through adversity, challenges, tough times, and maybe keep one kid still on the campus that they went to, but we still, if they want to go, let them go. I don't think there's any problems with that. But where we're at right now is a mess. It's a mess.
Coach, 4 straight winning seasons for you guys. First time in nearly 90 years that's happened at Northwestern.
Wow.
How do you explain kind of the consistency that your program has developed? Because it felt like for a while, you'd have a couple good seasons, then maybe it would slip back a little bit.
Yeah.
Now it just feels like you're really in a groove. What has changed here?
I think a consistency in leadership, a consistency in our staff. We've recruited really good players that have really given of themselves for the greater good of the team, and we play great team football. We've got an identity. We know who we are. We're just trying to do it better each and every year, and I think success breeds success. I think once you get over that hump, I mean, I look at Tom right now at IU. They're right there, right? They're right there. I lived that as a player. We were right there. We were right, and then once you have that breakthrough, Barney gave the analogy of priming a pump. You keep priming that pump and priming it. You don't know how close the water is, but if you stop, that water goes all the way back down. But once you get that water flowing, you can move it with your finger. That's kind of how I feel. We've been priming it for a lot of years. And those guys that played in the 70s and 80s, man, we were priming the heck out of that bad boy. That water wasn't coming. But we stand upon their shoulders, and we're very thankful for what they went through now, being on the back end of it where, we're a consistent winner. Now we want to become a consistent team in Indy. And I guarantee you there's 6 other teams on our side that have the same goal. But once you get there and once you've got there that one time, it's evidence that we have a championship-level program. Now we've got to do it consistently.
If there's one thing that has been a challenge for you in recent years, and it's interesting how this has flipped because there was a while where you used to always get off to good starts and then you'd fade a little bit.
Right.
Now the issue has been you haven't started well. You beat Purdue last year, got a really good win out of the gate, and it felt like, okay, maybe they've got that monkey off their back. Right. And then as you outlined, it didn't go well the next few games.
Right.
You start off with a huge game against Stanford. How do you – I know you've tried everything.
Right.
Well, can you put a finger on why the slow starts?
Well, you look at it in the offseason, and, last year was different than the year before. Last year we faced a ton of adversity, and the Michigan loss – when we lost Lark that Monday, going into that game, was the turning point for our team, even though it was out of a momentary failure. We had some guys step up. We had a couple offensive linemen down. We really struggled down the stretch in that game. And credit Michigan, they played great down the stretch and found a way to win. But I think walking off that field, some of our young players that hadn't played a lot of ball for us and really hadn't played very well for a couple of weeks said, okay, I think I can do this now. I think I'm ready, you know. Yeah. And we started to get our depth back. And then Isaiah, you know, came on. We were able to get some balance. You look at the end of the year and everybody says, well, you're a worse rushing offense in the big. Well, yeah, we were. 4 years prior, we had the all-time leading rusher. So we didn't just all of a sudden lose our ability. We just couldn't get it done. So we had to adjust. And it's players, formations, plays. We got to put our guys in the best position to go execute. And I thought it took us – we were very critical of ourselves as a staff that we didn't adjust quick enough, that we did not adjust quick enough. If we would have done it earlier, maybe we would have had different outcomes. So it starts and ends with us. We hope to avoid that here as we move forward. And not knowing what the adversity and what it will be, we've just got to do a better job, and that starts and ends with me.
Northwestern head coach Pat Fitzgerald. Thanks a lot, Coach. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate what you do. Go Cats.